I don't actually... They're not connected to anything. Forgive my lack of background, I am not where I usually am. I feel like the lighting should be better in this one though. Thanks guys. Okay. Hello BookTube, it's Span. Hello guys. Hello. Alright. Okay, hi guys. Okay, alright. Okay. Hi guys, it's Span. Welcome back to my BookTube channel. This week I have a review of Palace of Curiosities, but first, just let me apologise for my lack of background. There's nothing of interest there. I am not where I usually am. So the Palace of Curiosities. This is a very curious book. It's really complicated. There's a lot of dark visual imagery in here that is really quite disturbing. It's Victorian England, and these main characters that we have are a lion-faced girl, literally lion-faced, like she's covered in fur, she's half lion, half human, and she discovers other qualities she has as the book goes on, but a scientist discovers her, scientist and gentleman, discovers her and marries her and brings her into this new life where she visits guests of his, and they're well-paying guests, and it basically turns into a circus freak show. And then we've got the other voice, our second main character, who is Abel, and the book is written from both of their perspectives, and he heals, he can cut himself open, and he doesn't bleed, which is interesting, and then as the book goes on you find out that he is immortal, basically. He cannot die, and he's plagued by the horrors of not being able to die and how bad life is because nothing ever finishes and everybody else around him declines, and he's got so much life in his memory that he can't actually remember it, and it comes to him in hauntings and dreams, and his character is really interesting. He's very, very interesting character. He's really interesting, and the only word I'm saying is interesting over and over again. He's really complicated, there's a lot to him. He is a simpleton, he blanks out, and he is a second behind everyone else. It's like he's not all there. Because he's not all there, because he can't remember himself or who he is or his day-to-day life, because there's so much information in him that he just is that little couple of seconds behind because he has to process everything that is happening in his memory. I enjoyed the book, but I found it very disturbing. I've got to stop saying interesting. I didn't write down in this book, I didn't underline anything, I didn't go, oh my god, that is an amazing sentence. It was just very much worded like as if somebody was telling me what was happening, which was refreshing because I actually was more immersed into the story because I wasn't thinking about the language used. Like, I didn't remember I was reading a book, which is kind of ironic because that's what the guy can't remember what he was doing with his life because he's had so many lives and he's haunted by so many of his deaths that he always wakes up from. So this book is not a light-hearted, fun book. It's not necessarily sad or overly dramatic or anything either, but it is far from boring. It's not happy, it's not going to change your life, it's not going to make you feel like you're the best person in the world, which is the kind of books I like to read. This book is more likely to make you feel tired and thankful that you're not immortal, I think. It's not, it sort of has a happily ever after in the end, as much as it can do. It's a very creepy book, and in some parts I was like, this is not okay, this is just, why is this even included here? And then I realised why some of it was. They were so well written, like so immersed into this culture and this society that you are shocked and appalled that this is even happening, and it really explains in exquisite detail the scenes that are happening. And he starts off as a slaughterman in a cow factory, so he's killing cows quite vividly. I'm going to use the word vividly. Very, very hard to read in some places, in a lot of places actually, 3 or 4 places in particular in this book I was just like, this is not okay, I shouldn't be reading this, I'm revolted, and then I felt sick. But I continued on anyway because the story was interesting and I wanted to know why that was in there and if it had any point, and all throughout the book it did, which doesn't make it okay in any way, but I can see why it was there as a point in the... Yeah, okay, so that's my very long-winded book review of The Palace of Curiosities, which I think is by Rosie Garland. Sorry that the video is a day late. It was a hard one to read. It's not a young adult fiction. It's not a happy-go-lucky book. It's not really a romance. It's much deeper than all of that and much darker and murkier and creepier. It's a bit disgusting. Like, actually revolting. Like, it made my body not want to exist anymore. But that's an experience to be had as well, and it is a very effective novel. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I will talk to you later. God, you're balanced so precariously on top of a really good tripod, and there's so many things you could fall on, but I don't have that little piece to slip in there, because this isn't my house, that's not my tripod, but you are my camera, and you are my audience. Okay, BookTube, I will see you next week. Bye! How do you turn this thing off?